It's a big development in the controversial Central Maine Power transmission line for Western Maine. Governor Janet Mills has thrown her support behind the project. Good evening. I'm Pat Callahan.
And I'm Cindy Williams. Mills says the project will help lower electric rates and help reduce carbon emissions that are causing climate change.
Now, the governor's decision does not guarantee the project will be built, but as News Center's Don Carrigan reports, it is welcome news for CMP.
We can't say no to every prospect, to every project. We have to open the door.
The governor announced her support minutes before boarding a plane for Washington. 5 months ago, during the campaign, she said she had serious questions about the transmission line project. Now, after weeks of negotiations, the governor is backing it, in part because of climate change.
This is 1 pound of carbon.
The governor says a consultant review and other studies tell her that bringing 1,000 megawatts of hydropower into New England will reduce carbon emissions.
Nearly 80 million of these 1 pound cubes of carbon no longer emitted into our atmosphere. To me, that's significant. That's why I joined the stipulation.
And there is money. $258 million in financial incentives for Maine over 40 years. The biggest piece, $190 million to lower electric rates. $10 million in the next few years to expand broadband in Western Maine. $15 million to help buy heat pumps. Another $15 million for electric cars and charging stations. Those things, say the governor, will help the economy and the climate. Good news, of course, for Central Maine Power.
Obviously, the governor's support is important, but also we have, a lot of other parties who recognize the value of the project, both to Maine and our economy and to our environment. So, it's a good day.
But Maine's biggest environmental group doesn't buy it. Dylan Voorhees of the Natural Resources Council says the project will not reduce climate change.
That it is critical that we reduce carbon emissions dramatically in order to protect many of the things that we love about Maine. This project won't do that, and there's a lot of evidence for that.
But another prominent environmental group, the Conservation Law Foundation, says it would cut carbon emissions, and that trumps other worries.
The biggest threat to Maine's forests today, and it's only increasing, is climate change.
The governor and others say the project still has a long ways to go. The Public Utilities Commission is expected to decide on a permit next month. Then the environmental review begins. And even though she supports the project, Governor Mills says she will not try to influence that decision. In Augusta, Don Carrigan, News Center, Maine.
Governor Mills says she still has questions about ways to reduce environmental impacts, and she says she expects those will be raised by opponents at hearings with the Maine DEP.